Dr. Goober to you.
Dr. Goober Earl to me.
Deadly Tarantula Girl coming to you from, where are we?
Ingram, Texas.
This is the Deadly Tarantula Girl coming to you from Ingram, Texas. I'm back again in the lovely home of Anna and Dr. Earl Turner, and we're going to talk tonight about his vast experience with breeding Bushmasters. And so I'm just going to zip these lips right now and turn it over to Dr. Turner. Dr. Turner, tell us some of the things you know about breeding Bushmasters.
Bushmasters are a very strange snake. They're a snake that I think is the monarch of all of them. Most people say, oh, it's not very colorful. It's a beautiful animal. And the way it is composed is unique. It is the largest of all the pit vipers. It lays eggs, and it has rugose scales to the point that when they get precipitation, water on them, it can drink the water off the scales.
Wow.
These are burrowers. They live in the burrows of the agoutis. And what they will do, they have a very, very small territory because most of them, or a good many of them, feed on your rodents and what have you, and they will wait in near a hole, a burrow made by the agouti, and wait for a rat or an agouti, for instance, to come by, and they'll, boom, there it is. They've got food. And they'll go back in the burrow, stay coiled up for 2-3 weeks, maybe a month. When they've completely digested that, they come out of the burrow, they go defecate somewhere, they crawl right back, coil themselves around, and they're ready again. Now during the seasons when they're breeding, the males tend to go different places seeking the females, where the females are more home-like, let's say. They stick around the home place. Harry Green did a research on them and found that this group of Bushmasters in Central America and Costa Rica were feeding on rodents that were eating the monkey pods seeds from the monkey pod tree. And what they would do is just stay there in the burrows, and when the monkey pods seeds would fall, the Bushmaster would be waiting and zap.
Oh, neat.
And so they had a totally available food supply. But getting back to breeding these things, number one, people tend to keep most tropical snakes too hot. In those burrows, it's very cool. And I maintained my Bushmasters at about 73, 74 degrees. They say that, and I've read this from several different sources, that when the weather changes, you've got a front coming, put them together. Well, I don't know if that's true all over, because it seems like mine would breed any time they felt like it. The first breeding we had years ago, the female laid 11 eggs, and she laid them on June the 24th. Well, that means that it was April before she bred. So April, May, June at the max. There's no fronts coming through in April, not in Del Rio, Texas. And consequently, we had more and more breedings and hatched more and more Bushmasters, to the point we were supplying the other Bushmaster people with baby Bushmasters. And of course they were saying, well, these are Bushmasters. And I don't care whose they were as long as they paid me. Because I was trying to, I had 3 kids in college at the same time. I was almost at the point of going and looking at beer cans that along the highway to try and get a meal, The Thing about it is that those things are sporadic breeders. Yes, there's times that they probably are more prone to breed than others. But in a captive situation, that's an artificial situation. And I've seen them breed in some zoos where I worked at different times. And in fact, in Fort Worth, we had a muda. The eggs all had slits. I wanted to cut a triangle to get them out. And the general curator said, leave them alone. They all died.
It's a shame.
Well, you know, John Mertens was the curator. Lawrence Curtis was the oh, I don't know what you call it, director.
Oh, okay. I never got to meet Lawrence Curtis, but I'm friends with his son.
Are you?
He's got a pretty big outfit in Oklahoma City.
Really?
He's got big snakes, he's got bullens. He has a beautiful place with all kinds of rare animals, monitors, and all kinds of stuff. His property is incredible. Is Lawrence Curtis still alive?
I think so, yeah. I think he is.
So, do Bushmasters have any courting behavior? I've never worked with them.
They sometimes, not well, I say courting behavior. Sometimes they will rub the chins on the female and things like this. But generally speaking, and I wrote it in Reptiles magazine, and Dean Reba, who, when he was a small boy, I had Bushmasters. He also said that the cages get all tore up. Well, you can tell they've been doing something because their cages is just knocked all, you know, their hide boxes, their water bowls. It's a mess.
Wow.
After the female lays those eggs and those eggs hatch, or after she lays them, I always took them and incubated them.
Does she need a nesting box, or will she just lay on her substrate?
No. I keep a box in there that I constructed out of a styrofoam fish shipment container. And what I did is I cut, you know, a hole for her to go in and out. And in the top, or the bottom, let's say, I made another hole, but I angled it like at a 45. And then I put a piece of tape here and piece of tape here so I could take a look.
Oh.
You know, because...
So what would you put in it, though?
At that time, I was keeping them all on cypress mulch. And the drier you keep them, the better off you're going to be. Reba, I sold 3 snakes to Ray Queen. And Ray is probably one of the best breeders as far as rattlesnakes I've ever seen. You name it, he's either had it or well, he had it. He's gotten rid of everything. But I sold him 3 Bushmasters, a pair of breeders, and a young Panamanian that Ray saw me. Anna and I had to force feed for a year, and then it started feeding by itself. And then I sold it. A month later, they were all dead.
Oh, no.
Dean Reba told Ray he should spray them and keep them wet.
Oh.
I don't know why he said that. I guess he just, I said.
Well, Dean Reba kept a lot of Bushmasters successfully, did he not?
Yeah, he kept some Bushmasters, but I don't know how many he was successful with, because he showed me a picture one time of about 20 of them that were frozen.
Oh my gosh.
So I don't know, but apparently he was breeding them and selling them and trying to set up things to...
I know he had a pretty beautiful serpentarium.
Yeah, I understand he did. I tell you, the nicest looking serpentarium probably you're going to see. I don't know if it's the way it is now, but used to be that Earl Brockles piece at Black Hill Reptiles Garden. Man, they had a beautiful place. Now, they had a fire, so I don't know if they reconstructed it the same way. It was like a miniature Astrodome.
Oh, wow.
And it was something, but they have probably the rarest collection in the world.
Oh, wow. What state is that in?
South Dakota. The Bushmasters, You know, I hate to say, well, it's got to be 78 degrees or 74 degrees because...
So would you keep, was that ambient, or would you have a warmer area and a cooler area? Hi.
Not really. I kept them where it was more or less the same temperature all the time. That worked well
Okay.
for us, of course. That's not saying...
And that was in Texas.
That was in Del Rio, Texas.
Okay.
Out of
So
Del
pretty
Rio.
deserty.
It was. It's a Chihuahuan desert.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just a matter of feeding them regularly, cleaning them, making sure they had clean water.
What was the largest prey you would give them?
I gave them prey that was not quite as large as they were capable of taking. I've seen where people have taken snakes before, fed them a gigantic meal, and it kills them.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to chance that, so I've always been one to feed a little bit smaller than what is necessary.
So how hard are they to get started when they hatch out? And what temperature did you incubate at?
None.
Because they're voracious feeders, aren't they?
Yeah, pretty much. As far as incubation, what was it, Annie?
Well,
He's fine.
actually, I think it was in the 80s. I'm not really sure either.
It was about 77,
Yeah.
78 degrees. And sometimes I'd lower it just a little bit.
Were you able to influence their sexes based on temperature at all that you know of?
Didn't even try. I will tell you this, for anybody who has one that lays eggs, if they get an egg that looks like it's fungused, they can go down and they can buy some tinactin, sprinkle it on the egg.
The foot powder for
foot powder, it'll kill the
it's an
fungus.
antifungal.
I mean, I've had several eggs that were, and sprinkle that on there. Well, few weeks later or something, here comes a Bushmaster out.
So is that an egg that you can't turn? Do you have to keep them together?
Keep it? No. What I do is I see if I can separate them. If I can, I
okay.
have to leave them. But I'll put one here, one here, one
Okay.
here, and I don't bury them. I set them just barely in the vermiculite.
Oh, vermiculite.
I use vermiculite to about 1 to 3.
Perlite?
And just so it'll stick together. And then I'll spray them every so often.
Oh, directly? With water?
Just spray the sides.
Oh, the substrate.
And every time at least once a week, I'll take the tops off and air them a little bit like this with the top and put it back down.
And how long does it take them before they hatch out? Do you remember?
I don't either. I mean, I've got it in my notes, but it was.
You didn't know you were going to play a game of Jeopardy with me,
Well,
did you?
no, it was 60. It was 60 to 70 days max.
I think you knew more about it than I did at that time.
We had so
Now, if
many
you
things.
ask me about tortoises, that's
Oh, I
another
know.
story.
Oh, yeah.
She's the tortoise queen.
Ooh. Maybe we ought to do a video with you.
No,
to.
no.
But that's about it with those Bushmasters. There are
So about how many Bushmasters would you say you'd hatched out over the years?
33,
Wow.
and we sold a lot of them to the other Bushmaster breeders. They'd call us up and say, "Oh, we knew," and of course they'd say, "Well, we
Yes.
hatched them out." And I don't care. Like I said, I had 3 kids in college at the same time. I needed money.
About how many did they have in a clutch?
10, 11, something like that.
And how maternal were your females? Did you have to fight them to get the eggs?
Oh, you better be careful. The females, you have to take them out of the cage. You take the eggs out, then you clean the cage thoroughly. Because if she gets that smell, she's not going to eat. Then you completely clean the cage. You put back new or fresh substrate. Then you put her back in. And she's fine. She'll start eating. But if you leave any of that material when she laid, or when whatever, you're going to lose her. I've
Interesting.
seen that happen, and I'm glad you asked that question.
Wow.
And that's the truth.
Would your females, did they have a difficult recovery? Would you have to feed them carefully, or would they bounce right back?
No, they'd bounce right back. In fact, with a great deal of zest. One thing about a Bushmaster is they're a lot easier to handle, I've found, during the day than they are at night. And I think that has to do probably with some of their innate behavior, because if they would have a larger eye if they were
Nocturnal.
day dwellers. Being night dwellers, they have those small eyes, and they're unusual. They're different from any other snake. If you ever get a Bushmaster, just get ready, because you're dealing with something that is altogether different.
How intelligent do you think they are compared to some of the Cobras and stuff?
They're smart. Oh, Cobras are nuts. I mean, they're crazy. And now I can't say that about king cobras. I had a king cobra that I raised from a tiny baby. I got it from the Brownsville Zoo. And it was the runt. And we named it Ty. Ty became 15 feet. And when I'd clean his cage, I had to hang a plastic bag over his head so he'd leave me alone. Because he kept wanting to get in the poop and stuff I was trying to clean up. And I could pick him up, he'd crawl around. People thought I was nuts. But there was a certain bond between that animal and me.
I know several circumstances of cobras who, different species, who either choose someone they don't like in particular, but also several circumstances of them bonding to their owners. Definitely recognizing the difference between a caregiver and prey.
Yeah.
But I've never worked with Bushmasters at all. So,
Well, if y'all ever get a chance and you get one, if you're interested, I'll keep my eyes open, because I get a lot of offers.
I believe it.
The last pair I had of mudas went to,
Oh, Rick Tozer.
and he's got a bunch. He bought a bunch of stuff that Reba, and
Oh,
Reba's
yeah.
wife shot him in the head.
Yes.
So, God almighty.
Shame.
That was bound to happen. Some ways, I don't know, but
Do you know, I know he had a young child. Do you know if he had any other children? I didn't think so.
no, he had a little boy, and I hope the little boy's okay. It's a shame that something like that had to happen, but you can push some people just so much, and they get tired of it, and that's it. But anyway, I hope that'll help you all out. I
Oh,
don't
definitely. Can you think of any other, what I would consider secret tips about breeding or keeping Bushmasters?
One thing, they get a disease they call the red belly disease. That's usually caused by one of two things or both: mites and keeping them on wet substrata. Keep them dry unless they're getting ready to shed. And when they get ready to shed, I'd open them up. I'd open their hide box up and spray them, put it back down. I'd do it once a day.
What's your favorite remedy for mites?
7 dust is about one of the best things. Yeah.
And how do you use it?
I just take, I don't even, well, the water I'll take out for a little while. I just, throw it all in there.
Kind of do like a balm in there?
Yeah, just throw it everywhere.
With them in there or no?
Yeah. It'll get rid of your mites.
Like 2 treatments?
One usually is
Really?
enough.
Wow.
Yeah, so. But,
Now, if you keep other animals, they may be susceptible to that, but especially if you have inverts.
Yeah.
But
Well, it's just saying.
shouldn't hurt most reptiles. Amphibians,
won't.
maybe.
It might, I don't know. But with snakes, I've always used like 7 dust. I lost a baby one time years ago to this mite pest or whatever it is spray.
Oh, the prevenamite spray?
Prevenamite. And it killed him. And, I was told, oh, use that stuff, it's the best.
Well, if you have an animal with compromised health, it could hurt them.
Boy, it hurt him. And he was a little guy.
Oh.
So I've got him frozen, deep freeze.
Wow.
Okay.
Well, thanks for this amazing tell-all.
You're welcome.
Hopefully, those of you who are keeping Bushmasters might have learned a thing or two. Those who just like to learn might have been interesting information.
I'll be glad to be your tour guide if you need to go to, well, there's some places in Mexico I can't go, but I'll be glad to take you to some of the more joyful, happy-go-lucky places where if you can't run, don't go.
So, maybe coming soon, the summer edition of Deadly Tarantula Girl and Dr. Turner running through Mexico.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Hope you guys enjoyed this one, and I'll see you next time.